Hey guys, Monsinger here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be jumping in and taking a look at all of the EZAs and Super EZAs that came with the 10th anniversary. We are going to be going from the very beginning of the anniversary all the way up into the last ones we've received here now as part of the EX part of the anniversary, which is of course the GT Super Saiyans and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. And we are going to be ranking them not in terms of a number order, because obviously there's a huge difference in quality between a lot of these units, some of them with huge gaps, some of them on a similar level. So I thought we'd have a little bit of fun with this and look at it in the style of, everyone loves to say, like, you know, when units are cooking or that they cooked. So I thought it'd be fun to channel the meme lord himself, right? Another Englishman, and look at this from the perspective of a Gordon Ramsay style ranking system. So to explain the tiers that we've put in here, we've got they cooked, because that's pretty obvious, right? Then we've got needed a little more time in the oven. So these ones I would say are the ones that are good, possibly even verging on very good, but definitely could have been better. Then we have Kitchen Nightmare, because I think just like the show itself, right, these units might not be that good, but they have the potential. Maybe when other units release, or they get a better team, or certain events come out with other things that will, you know, play to their strengths. And then of course we've got the classic It's Still Raw, which is for, of course, the ones that are not very good, right? So we'll see how we go. We'll jump in. I just thought it'd be something a little bit fun to do it this way. Let me know what you guys think. I have made the tier thing, so you can obviously check it out yourself, but I've ordered the EZAs in the order that they came out, starting from the beginning all the way up until the end. And so let us just go ahead and start putting these bad boys on the list. So obviously we start off, what a place to start, right? We start off with Int Buhan. I guess I could have put Super Vegito first, right? Because they came out at the same time. But Int Buhan and AGL Super Vegito Super EZA. I mean, I don't think it surprises anybody that we're going to put Buhan straight into They Cooked, right? Because he clearly is the best of these units. I personally still think he is like the best Super EZA, like the best EZA in general, right? I think he's at number one. Absolutely cooked with this guy. He is crazy good, and yeah, definitely very strong. Now when it comes to AGL Super Vegito, I don't know, this one's tough, because to a certain extent I do think he's kind of good in some situations, but then at the same time, I can't lie, like I never run this guy, and even when I'm putting a team build together where he could potentially be on that team, I still don't end up running him, because the big problem with him is that in the difficult content that we've got now, he will get absolutely destroyed by super attacks. Now, he can tank all normals, and he can counter, he can deal a little bit of damage back out, right? Nice free counter damage, we always love that. He's got that super attack effect that buffs the rotation. The problem is, whilst he does have an ability to have a scouter himself, it's based on you being on low HP. If you have a scouter active, like, all the time, if this guy was only ever going to be on rotation when you had a scouter active, then I could probably say that he wouldn't be as good as Buhan, but he could potentially be in the higher tier. But the problem is, like, if you don't know where the super attack is going to be, then he's a huge liability, because he will take massive damage from a super attack. So it's hard to place it, whether he should be here or here, I don't really know. I guess one thing they could have done for him is a similar thing that like the Tech Gogeta and Physical Janemba have, where he could have had like a built-in extra chance to dodge if it's a super attack, for example, because super attacks will absolutely destroy this guy. And when it comes to things like the new Formidable Foes events and stuff like that, I just don't bring this guy on the team, because like the chances of him getting you killed, especially as we've talked about with those stages, you get 25 minutes through the run and then he gets you killed by a super attack. Like that's very much not what you want, right? So in the future, like if we get a unit come out, I guess Diamond Vegeta has one on turn 1. It's just a case of, could you get one on turn 3 from a different unit? If you could put him on a team where there was a scouter active every single turn, then he would probably be pretty high up. So if we get a unit that comes out that he can be run with, that gets a scouter for like the first couple of turns, then you have like the 10th year fusions, you have Gogeta, like Super Saiyan 4, the physical one. Like if you can run this guy with a scouter all the time, he would be higher on the list, but we'll put him there for now. Then we have the Int Janemba. Man, Int Janemba can be really, really good, but the number of times he doesn't dodge after attacking for me is starting to get a little bit annoying for me. I feel like maybe if he had more defense, like after attacking, because like in some of the Formidable Foes events, I've seen him taking like 400k from a normal attack, right, after he's attacked and then doesn't dodge. So he very, very much relies on dodge. He is still very good though. You could probably put him here, but obviously there would be a gap between him and Buhan, like specifically, right? Then Gogeta, I actually prefer Gogeta to Janemba. There's still, I would say, a gap between him and Buhan, but Gogeta, they cooked for sure. This guy, I think he gets underrated. I don't know if people realize quite how, like, if you pick up the Rainbow Orbs of him, he gets a bunch of supers within the same turn. Like, he can, after his passive is fully built up, he only has to attack a few times. Once his, like, passive is fully built up, he can tank, like, 4 to 5 million damage attacks, right? He's also lowering attack if you can do that in the event, which obviously there's a decent few events that you can do that now, like the Formidable Foes one at the moment. He's got a solid link set. He's just really good. He's supporting the rotation for extra attack, which is always nice. Yeah, I just think he's really, really good. I think they definitely did a great job with this guy. So then we have the the worldwide, the Namek worldwide celebration, worldwide units. Namek, Goku, and Full Power Frieza. I think we'll put Namek Goku. Is he better than Vegito? Probably. But yeah, Kitchen Nightmare. He needs an event where he can get away with a few turns of not really having to take any damage and then get a bunch of attacks off, and then he can build up to certainly a reasonable level. But like the difficult content that we have at the moment, I think is just really like not well suited to him at all. Frieza, we can put him above. Like Frieza definitely could have been better. They both could have been better, I think, but Frieza is a lot better than Goku. He maybe just needed that little bit more, because obviously he kind of wants to be in slot 1. He can still take damage from like the hardest hitting bosses, but he's definitely better than Goku. So I think for now, right, we could put him there. Then we've got the Tech Cell. Tech Cell is very, very similar to Buhan. Like when I made my list, I put this guy at number 2, and then I put like Gogeta just below, but in like the same color tier. I've seen a lot of people making arguments now that Cell is better than Buhan because a lot of the toughest events at the moment are Superclass. Which is fair. I think there's arguments for either of these two, like being better than the other one, but with him being so similar to Buhan, it really wouldn't make sense for him to be in any other tier other than the same one as Buhan, right? So then we have the Kaioken Goku. Now this guy, man, I don't know whether he's definitely better than Namek Goku, but would he be up here? Because this guy, it would have been so much better for him if he had the damage reduction with any type of orb other than STR, because if you can't pick up any STR orbs, then he just doesn't get any at all, even if he can pick up like 10 physical orbs, for example, right? But his post-super defense is actually really high, so if you are picking up a decent amount of STR orbs, he is actually able to tank relatively well. And I think people do underrate his ability to tank. He doesn't have any built-in additionals as well, which is really awkward. I guess maybe we could put him here. He'd probably be at the top of this tier. Like there are events where you could use this guy and he would be quite good, especially if you've got like a physical boss, for example. But with his links and everything, because he's not like a Super Saiyan Goku, he's not on Power Beyond Super Saiyan or anything like that. He's a bit more limited. Like I used him on the full power run for that final stage of the Formidable Foes event, and he did relatively well. But yeah, I guess we could put him at the top of this list. Like a certain event could come out, or certain new partners for like a full power team or any other sort of thing that this guy could be run on. Like he could be good in the future, I guess. Like all these guys, even in the Kitchen Nightmare tier, like they're not necessarily like terrible, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is though, like I don't want to be too overly negative on some of these guys, because I know some people would immediately put like probably these guys in the bottom here, maybe even Super Vegito as well, I don't know. But I think there's definitely potential. I think as I look at the list, like, and the units that are left to go in, I don't necessarily think any of them are completely terrible. But Except for one, I guess, maybe. I'm kind of souring on him a bit more as we go. But I'm going to put Super Saiyan 2 in LR Gohan. It needed a little more time in the oven. I think he is actually really good. If you look at him through the lens of he's a floating slot 3 support unit for supporting a superclass team, who at the same time can hit really hard and have pretty decent defense, then I think people would be a lot more... like, people would warm to him a little bit more. But I think if you try and... it's kind of like the exact same thing as the Int Ultimate Gohan Super EZA, where you've got to look at this unit more as they're a support unit that you throw in, you probably float them, and they're just there to provide a little bit to the team. If you're thinking about this guy in terms of, like, I want him to be on main rotation and he's my, like, big slot 2 damage dealer, then he's probably not... like, there are other units that can just do that role better than him. His defense isn't the craziest, like his damage isn't really even that crazy, depending on obviously the amount of orbs that you're actually able to get. But I think looking at him as like a support, he is actually really good. And being an LR, obviously big stats, like support unit, throwing a support unit on the team, having a floating third slot support unit is always very useful for buffing the other units. But because most of the time those characters are TURs, you know, that gives you things like a lower HP pool overall and stuff like that. But having an LR who's just a floating support is very, very useful. I do think Gohan is a bit underrated, so we're going to put him there. Then we're going to have the tech... actually, I don't know how did I mix them up? Because we should have gone from Kaioken Goku straight into Great Ape Vegeta. But Great Ape Vegeta... actually, yeah, we should have gone from Cell into Gohan and then to Kaioken Goku. Great Ape Vegeta, he goes in They Cooked, right? He's really good. Solid slot 1 unit for the Gogeta team. He has the Giant Ape thing, which can be used as a team protection ability. Although the, you know, requirement for it is kind of bad, right? The 40% HP. I've had multiple occasions where I've not been on quite low enough HP to actually be able to use it. In terms of ordering the tier, I would argue that he's definitely better than Janemba. It's difficult to argue for Gogeta, like, because they're two very different units. It's like, how do you argue a slot 1 tank and then, like, a slot 2 or 3 damage dealing support unit? Like, they both do very different things. But I guess in terms of, like, a really difficult event, you're trying to go for slot 1s, you're probably going to put, like, this guy on the team over. Like, if I'm making the AGL Gogeta team, I'm putting this guy on first, right? The Ape Vegeta to be one of the slot 1s. And then I'm probably putting Gogeta in the team anyway. He is usually the... other unit that I throw on that AGL Gogeta team, but I guess we could put Tech Vegeta above him. He's obviously very, very good in terms of being that slot 1 tank. And then we have the Gods and the Super Saiyan 4s. I mean, should be pretty obvious. You know, the thing is, it's funny seeing some of these units in the same tier, because, like, imagine having, I know obviously he's right down the bottom, but imagine having Int Janemba and then, like, the physical LR Super Saiyan 4s / Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in the same tier. And funnily enough, like I say, we're probably not even going to end up using the bottom one that much. You know what we should do? Let's go ahead and we'll add a row above here. Let's make it a different color. And then, you know what we'll do? We'll put the ultimate top tier for this category. And then, there you go. Made by Gordon himself. The chef kiss for the ultimate best unit. So we'll put you and you in there. I guess if we are ordering the tiers, right, I do prefer Gogeta a little bit more than the Gods. Then we'll put you up there for sure. I mean, again, it's really hard to separate these two too much because they are, like, both so good. So let's do that, because Great Ape Vegeta is not perfect, so I'm not going to put him in that top tier. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And there you go. So the delicacies made by Gordon himself, right? The Gods, the Super Saiyan 4s, Int Buhan and Tech Cell. And then we have the GT Super Saiyans. They absolutely cooked with them. I mean, you could definitely argue them above the Ape Vegeta, although they're not slot 1 tanks, which again is the same argument as, like, the STR Gogeta. So it's like, if you think a slot 1 tank is more important, he would go there. Otherwise, in terms of pretty much ticking in almost every other column, he would probably be there, right? So, I don't know, I guess we'll just leave him there for now, because it doesn't really matter too much. The tiers are kind of ordered, but not really. I'm not saying that, like, this is the exact order, and this I'm 100% locking in. Like, if this was a list, right, we'd be going Vegeta would be at like 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. It's not that specific, but obviously let me know how you would order these tiers and whether you agree with these guys being in these tiers or not. And then when it comes to Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, I mean, again, I don't want to be too overly negative for these units. I would probably put him in here because there are some situations where he could be good, but like those situations are basically when being run with Super Saiyan 4 Goku and the enemy doesn't super attack you straight away in slot 1 and you get to attack first, which for a slot 1 tank is just absolutely terrible. So since we need to put someone in that tier, we will go ahead and put him in the bottom tier here. So there you go. That is the ranking for all of the EZAs and Super EZAs that we got during the 10th anniversary. I think when you look at it from this perspective, yes, you know, we kind of made a bit of fun of it. The tiers aren't exactly super serious, but you can see, I think, when we look over the EZAs, there were 15 in total EZAs and Super EZAs, and the top 2 tiers combined are 9 of those units, right? So well over half of the EZAs or Super EZAs from the anniversary were really, really good. Full Power Frieza and Gohan are still really solid as well. So we got over 2/3, right? That's 11 out of the 15 units are in the top 3 tiers. And then, like I said, there are situations where the units in the Kitchen Nightmare tier would actually be useful. Like, again, Super Vegito, if you could guarantee that you always knew where the super attack was, you could probably argue that he's either at the top of this tier or maybe even up here, just because if you never put him in front of a super, he never takes any damage and he just does free damage back with counters and stuff, right? So he definitely could be good in certain situations. You just kind of need the right situation for him. I don't know. And then Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, honestly, I guess I would probably put him at the bottom of this tier, but we can't have the bottom tier be completely empty, so there we go. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. How do you feel about the overall suite of EZAs that we got for the anniversary? How do you think or what do you think about the placements on here? Do you agree, considering they are just funny tiers, but do you agree with the tiering? How would you change the order within each tier? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.